Pop! OS 24.04 versus Debian 13, a performance and stability deep dive. Struggling to pick between Pop! OS and Debian for your next project? You're not alone. In this video, we put Pop! OS 24.04, the one shipping System 76's new Cosmic desktop, head-to-head with Debian 13 Trixie. We'll run through raw performance numbers, real-world responsiveness, and long-term reliability so you can choose the OS that actually fits your workflow. Opening. Why this matters. Pop! OS and Debian sit at opposite ends of the desktop philosophy. Pop! OS delivers a curated modern desktop with up-to-date drivers and user-focused polish. Debian prioritizes conservative changes, rigorous testing, and long-term predictability. That difference shows up in performance, available software versions, and how each distribution behaves under sustained load.
Methodology, how we tested. To be fair, we use the same hardware for both installs. Modern Intel AMD laptop with NVMe SSD, 16GB RAM, and hybrid Intel NVIDIA graphics where applicable. Benchmarks include CPU stress tests and compile workloads, Phoronix test suite, GPU and gaming runs where relevant, disk I/O tests, application cold launch timings, and multi-hour stability runs under sustained load. We also tracked system responsiveness, UI latency, and package update behavior during daily use. Performance face-off, raw speed. Short version, distribution choice still matters. Pop! OS 24.04 rebased on Ubuntu 24.04 and shipping the new Cosmic desktop tends to deliver faster out-of-the-box responsiveness for desktop tasks and benefits from newer kernels and driver packaging that can help gaming and GPU workloads. System 76's Pop! OS 24.04 beta and early tests showed tangible responsiveness improvements compared to older Pop! OS releases. Debian 13, however, shows measurable gains in compute-focused benchmarks in recent testing. Updates to key libraries like OpenSSL and newer compiler toolchains and packaging improvements have translated into notable performance wins in some workloads. CPU/GMIN show relative bars Pop! OS versus Debian. Note, Pop! OS often faster in desktop/GPU stacks. Debian can be faster for certain compute/crypto workloads. Stability and reliability. Stability is where Debian has its strongest reputation. Slow release cadence and thorough integration testing mean fewer surprises on critical systems. Debian 13's release notes emphasize architecture support, hardening, and conservative upgrades that favor reliability. Pop! OS trades some of that conservatism for fresher packages and System 76's curated testing. That typically produces a smoother experience for desktop users who want newer features and better hardware support, but it can mean more frequent updates and occasional regressions during early releases, beta/alpha phases. Real-world UX, gaming, creative work, and old hardware. If you game, use GPU-accelerated creative apps, or need up-to-date drivers, Pop! OS usually wins. NVIDIA packaging, timely Mesa/Kilometer updates, and System 76's hardware enablements give it an edge. For lighter hardware or use as servers and development machines where predictable behavior matters, Debian's lean defaults and stability-first approach are excellent. Ecosystem, package management, and updates. Pop! OS uses apt underneath but layers on its own repositories and tooling, PopShop, System 76 packages. That means easier installs of popular desktop apps and hardware drivers.
Debian's vast repositories and strict packaging policies mean software may lag behind the latest upstream, but tends to be extremely well tested. If you rely on PPAs or bleeding-edge packages, Pop! OS or using Debian backports is the friendlier path. Security and hardening. Debian 13 includes focused hardening improvements and architecture support that benefit servers and security-conscious users. Pop! OS is secure, but its goal is a balance between security and a modern desktop experience, which sometimes means shipping newer, less conservative components.
Benchmarks, summary, and interpretation. Benchmarks aren't the whole story. Distribution tuning matters. Recent cross-distribution tests show variance between distros depending on tuning and goals. A distribution optimized for raw throughput, e.g., clear Linux, will outrun general-purpose distros in many synthetic tests, while Debian and Pop! OS land in different sweet spots depending on the workload.
The practical verdict: who should pick what? Choose Pop! OS if you want a modern, polished desktop with easy NVIDIA support, faster adoption of newer kernels drivers, and a user-friendly out-of-the-box experience for creators and gamers. Choose Debian 13 if you prioritize long-term stability, predictable upgrades, and a conservative foundation for servers, development boxes, or machines you set and forget. If your use case is mixed, for example, a home developer who occasionally games, consider dual booting, using virtual machines, or running Debian with carefully chosen backports. Finally, closing. Both distributions are excellent but solve different problems. Want bleeding-edge desktop polish and better out-of-the-box GPU support? Pop! OS. Want a rock-solid, rigorously tested base for work or servers? Debian 13. Try both in a VM or live USB if you're unsure, and tell us which one you picked in the comments.
Thanks for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for daily videos. Bye.